Hey guys, Miss Weeks here, and today's mini lesson is focused on Equal Rights Amendment. So what is Equal Rights Amendment? It's broken up into 3 sections. The first section, these 23 words, has been the driving force behind the revolution of womanhood, the women's rights movement, and it goes as follows. Equality of rights under the law should not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of sex. Meaning, whether you're born male or female, the federal government or the state, local level, doesn't matter, cannot deny your natural born rights or compromise them in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Section 2. The Congress shall have the power to enforce, by appropriate legislation, the provisions of this article. Now, in order for Section 1 to be enacted, Congress has to agree upon it. And we all know Congress makes up 2 houses, House of Representatives and the Senate. So both houses, or the majority of the houses, have to all be on the same page about enforcing Section 1. And once Section 2 is checked off Section 3, the amendment shall take effect 2 years after the date of ratification. Once it's officially on the books, it must go into effect 2 years after. Now, check this out. We gained the right to vote, but yet 3 years later, we had to remind the government that we also need equal rights. So in 1923, this amendment has been proposed at every new session of Congress, but never reached the House or Senate floor. That's crazy. Think about how many decades later to make it to the 60s and 70s for an organization to say, you know what, enough is enough. And they prioritized getting the amendment passed. The organization for that is the National Organization for Women, also known as NOW. Goals for NOW: equal pay for equal work, access to jobs traditionally held by men, access to affordable childcare, better access to a college education.
So during this time in the 1960s and 70s, the college acceptance rate for women was significantly lower than men. And reversing to today's society, the college rate is higher for women than men.
If we remember from Tuesday's lesson, mentality of society back in the 1940s and 50s. So that actually makes a lot of sense to why the acceptance rate for women were lower than that of men. Connect the information from prior knowledge to the information that you're getting now and analyze it. Create questions so it can help build a better foundation for understanding. But here's the thing. The ERA has stipulations. They put a deadline on it. So 38 states needed to ratify the ERA in order for it to become law. Ratification had to be completed by 1979. And the crazy thing is, once Nixon signed it in 1972, Hawaii ratified it within 32 minutes, according to New York Times. And then, as you can see, 22 states ratified in the first year. So everyone believed that Equal Rights Amendment would pass. And it was a great climate in America for women and just for everyone, just for equality all around. But by 1977, only 35 states had ratified the ERA. And it was given an extension until 1982 to get the remaining 3 states to ratify. And I know you're wondering why the gap? What is the resistance? What's the holdback? What's keeping these states from dragging their feet? You would think that equality for all will be like a song everyone wants to sing. Unfortunately, it was not. There were groups that were opposing the ERA. It was claimed by anti-ERA groups led by Phyllis Schlafly that the following would be a result in the ERA was passed. 1. Women would no longer be entitled to child support of alimony if divorced.
2,
Women would be eligible for draft by the military.
3,
Privacy rules would disappear. No separate men's and women's restrooms. Homosexual marriage will become legal. Businesses claimed it would cost them more money. But the funny thing about all of this, a lot of it already passed without the ERA even being a law. And the whole point of the ERA is for equal pay. So number 5 is just a straight up lie. That's propaganda. All of it is propaganda. And we could debunk it all because 2, 3, and 4 has already come to pass without the ERA even becoming a law. And 5, they catch a deal, quote unquote, when they hire women because they underpay women. And then number 1, women would no longer be entitled to child support of alimony if divorced. Well, in all honesty, if we were being paid equally, we wouldn't need it. But in truth, that's not true. You'll still be awarded alimony. So those fears kept the ERA from being passed. And it has still been introduced at every congressional session since 1982 defeat. So we got the extension, and we still missed the extension by literally 3 states. That is crazy. Look at the visual. Internalize the visual. What does this visual appeal to for you? What message is it relaying to you? So, numerous court cases have helped to promote equality. But my friend John Oliver has something to say about the ERA in Congress.
Yes, the deadline passed in 1982, but legal scholars believe that Congress could simply change the deadline again or eliminate it entirely. In fact, bills to do that have been introduced in both the House and the Senate just this year, with bipartisan co-sponsors. Meanwhile, states have been moving the ERA forward, with Nevada and Illinois both ratifying it in the last couple of years. And for State Senator Pat Spearman, who was behind Nevada's ratification push, the reasons for doing so were all too clear.
People who are born in privilege always debate whether or not those of us who were not deserve equality. And so what we're talking about here, is the fact that equality is not debatable. We are born with it. The only thing we're asking in the ERA is to acknowledge the fact that women are born equal to men.
Now is the time where you get to share your thoughts. Tell us what you think on our Google Classroom stream. And remember, you have to respond to at least 3 other group members. What are your thoughts about equal rights and the topics that we spoke about this week? See you later, kings and queens.